Hi, I'm Kalman Kerway and welcome to this video. This one is another one for people who are starting out in large companies like call centers or IT support, service desks. But it can also be useful for people in general at a new workplace. Basically, this one is about socializing at work and how to have your first steps in this new environment in a not exactly official manner, so to say. Basically, even if you're a bit recluse, an introvert, go to the first team building that's announced. Sometimes it's called team drinking, not team building, but usually the effect is the same. But the first one is really important. Usually when a larger number of new people arrive to a group, they announce a special team building, like a team introduction to get to know the new people, and the new people can get to know the older ones. But it is really useful to get to know the people, how they are outside of work, and to really give you a glimpse into their lives, into their mentality. And a lot of people open up much better in these events, and you have a much better chance of finding the really reliable people. Because especially if it's a team drinking, after a while people might slip up and they might reveal some things about themselves that show you that, maybe you shouldn't get involved with this guy or with that person in any manner. Try to chat with as many people as possible in these events. Like really go around having a few words with everyone, and try not to be isolated by one person. This happens quite easily, and if this happens, most likely that person sort of wants to, either has a really dominating personality and just wants to really quite literally isolate you from the rest of the team, or they want something from you, but it can be a bit awkward that you're there to introduce yourself to the team and to get to know the people, and suddenly this one person holds you hostage. And that's really not beneficial for anyone in this situation. So if you feel that someone is really trying to keep pulling you away from the others, or separating you from the others, just be polite and tell them that, hi, sorry, I would like to have a few words with the other ones as well, so I would like to get to know them, and just move on. That's sort of the polite way to do it. Apart from finding the reliable people, as I mentioned, it's also quite easy in these situations to sort of filter out the risky people, because they will reveal a few things about themselves, and even just seeing them in these non-official or semi-official situations, they will reveal some bad habits or types of behavior which will tell you that, just keep away. That person is not really someone you should trust with anything, basically. Sometimes they even reveal highly illegal things in their backgrounds, and that's a huge red flag in any manner. And I've seen some situations when managers sort of woke up that, oh, what was that? and they had to do some investigation on that person because something more serious came up. As I mentioned, in some places, instead of team buildings, they have team drinkings. That's not really an officially organized team building. It's more like the colleagues just come together, have a few drinks, talk a while, and have a bit of chit chat, and that's it. If in any of these events alcohol is served, like an official team building as a kind of an after party or just a team drinking, for the first one, no matter what your drinking habits are, exercise moderation. You really don't want to end up labeled as the crazy person who's dancing on the tables after a few drinks from the get-go. That can happen later on. You can be as fun or as crazy as you want, but for your first team building, that's really more about gathering information and gauging the environment, and not about just full-on going insane with things. It can have a really bad effect when you're labeled as something negative because of the initial missteps. And it's better to avoid it in the beginning. So just a bit of moderation and focus more on getting to know the people around you, getting to know your future colleagues, and you can avoid unpleasant labeling to happen. Still on the subject of socializing, do not jump into a new job looking for your future spouse. For some, this might sound weird. There are people who go to a new workplace with this mentality that I'm going to find a wife, I'm going to find a husband, and all that. No, that's kind of creepy and gives a whole strange vibe to your presence in a place like this. If a relationship develops over time, that's absolutely fine, but do not start hunting or let yourself be hunted immediately in at a new job. If you're new at a workplace and a colleague wants to have a date with you like within the first 2 weeks, that's usually a bit suspicious. It can be love at first sight, but most cases it's that person has already either dated or tried to date everyone else in the office, and you're basically the naive fresh fish in his or her sea. So if someone is really early trying to get personal with you relationship wise, that's sort of a bit of a red flag. So just okay, yeah, thanks, maybe later. But do not jump into this, and don't think that sort of might sound harsh, but don't think you're special because someone immediately wanted to get with you. You're just a new person, and they've already played their chances with the others. That's what I've seen in the last about 18, 19 years in these places. So that's sometimes it's actually quite appalling to see the mentality of these hunters in these places, how they view the new employees, like, oh, there's someone new, I've got a clean slate and I can say whatever I want. But do not misunderstand me. Working wholesome relationships do blossom in such environments. So usually they say that, oh, never get together with anyone at work, it just leads to problems. Well, you just have to be cautious and really think things through. But yeah, these relationships develop. A lot of people get married at call centers and have kids. Some offices even have walls with the babies of the company that were born between two employees. So it can be fun. I'm talking from experience. So that's sort of the nice part of this environment, that although it's usually a quite depressing office environment, but still life and love finds a way. So it's interesting because actually these environments, especially with the open space offices, are really ideal to see people in their worst and best states, in their worst of times and best of times. This can really help you have a well-founded judgment on whether you want to get together with someone or not. You can really see how well they work under stress, how well they work with others, how they treat others. And on team buildings and other events, or sometimes it's not an official team building, just the colleagues get together to go to the movies or whatever, you can really see them in different situations and different environments. And with time you can really have like a full view of the entire spectrum of someone's personality, and then you can make the judgment if that is the type of person you want to get together with or not. And most of the time these relationships develop naturally at the workplace. So if two people work really well together, as time goes on they realize that they work well together in every aspect of life. Also, it's really useful to see people around the time of various holidays, how they treat holidays. Do they have some personal issues with certain holidays? And that's also something that can help you build up your clear image of that person, and not just project your illusions on that other person. But you do have to be careful about this whole relationship thing at the workplace, because if you are just out to get a few flings, like really fleeting, let's say one-night stands or so, you will just complicate your own life and the life of others. You have to think about it that after a short relationship, or just a fling, or whatever they call it, you still have to go back to the same workplace and sit next to your exes. And you really don't want to end up in an office that's filled with your exes, who are also know about each other and talk about you and all that. So that can get really awkward. That's something I've seen happen with others, and it's really not beneficial for anyone. It can really just put a lot of extra strain on the people during work. So yeah, that's not really useful. Apart from all this personal views and experiences and all that, and how you want to treat it and how you go into the office, also make sure that you're absolutely clear of the regulations the company has regarding any kind of relationships, because some companies have very, very strict rules, and if you slip up, if you don't follow their rules or their regulations, you can end up getting fired or get your chosen one fired. So it can be really bad, not just for you, but for others as well. So always read through very, very thoroughly what the company expects from people in such situations, to avoid any complications. So that would be it for the socializing at the workplace. So just be cautious, be mindful, considerate, and don't go overboard. If you like this video, then likes are highly appreciated. If you know someone who would benefit from these videos, then please share the link with them. If you'd like to see more of these videos, then please subscribe. I will publish a new one every Wednesday. And if you would like to support me in any extra way, then you can do that via Patreon, where I'm providing early access to my videos and sharing exclusive content. Also, you can buy any of the products with my designs on Redbubble. Links are in the description. Or I would also appreciate if you bought a copy or two, or 100, from the Adventures of the Smallest Astronaut, a coloring book for kids, coloring storybook for kids I've written and drawn, available on Amazon, in all regions of Amazon. Link also in the description. And of course, if you agree or disagree with anything in my video, then please leave a comment. That's also appreciated, just to see people react to anything. Okay, thank you for your time, and